In the opening of the film, we are thrust into the chaos of a brutal urban battlefield where a squad of American soldiers is engaged in a fierce firefight. Moving with tactical precision, they clear enemy combatants from their path, eventually using explosives to breach a fortified building. Inside, snipers take their positions and the team systematically eliminates a large group of hostiles in quick succession. However, their momentary victory is short-lived. As they descend from the building, they are met by an overwhelming number of enemy reinforcements. Despite being outnumbered, the Americans continue to fight, though they suffer their first casualty in the exchange. Just as they manage to neutralize the second wave, a third squad of enemies appears. Rudy, realizing the situation is dire, frantically calls his base camp for reinforcements. The tide of the battle shifts not because of human intervention, but due to a celestial anomaly. A red light begins to glow in the sky, growing so intensely bright that both the Americans and their enemies cease fire and step out into the open, mesmerized and confused. The red glow abruptly transforms into a thundering white light, flashing like lightning. This mysterious force begins lifting the soldiers off the ground, pulling them upward into the sky. Following a sudden scene cut, the soldiers awaken in a sterile, terrifying new environment. They are trapped inside glass containers filled with a viscous liquid. It becomes clear that they have been abducted by extraterrestrials for experimental purposes. Inside these pods, the soldiers experience strange, fragmented visions or ions of their past battles, as if their memories are being harvested or replayed. Suddenly, the machinery malfunctions. The glass containers shatter, spilling the soldiers and the stasis liquid onto the floor. Disoriented and coughing up the fluid, the men struggle to find their bearings. A soldier named Jays observes that the liquid should dissipate from their bodies within a minute. When his comrades ask how he knows this, Jays is visibly shaken. He has no memory of ever learning about stasis liquid in his previous life. As they explore the strange facility, they notice bizarre inscriptions on the walls. One soldier finds he can inexplicably read this alien language. The text reveals that they were selected because of their military backgrounds and mentions a catastrophic plague that has devastated humanity on Earth. The soldiers are baffled, not only by the information but by their sudden, unearned linguistic abilities. Furthermore, they notice their weapons are fully loaded, as if the battle they were just fighting had never actually occurred. Kali, the squad leader, realizes they must escape before their captors return. They encounter a massive circular gate that refuses to budge via its controls, forcing the team to use collective brute strength to pry it open. They eventually find a vent system, and a soldier named Ray is sent through to scout the other side. Finding it clear, the rest of the team follows. However, the environment becomes increasingly macabre. They find deep gouges on the walls, suggesting a massive predator has been clawing at the doors. One soldier theorizes they are in an underwater maze-like prison. As they move deeper, they follow the sound of strange noises and find trails of blood. They soon discover a room filled with thick fog where human corpses hang from the ceiling, mutilated and dismembered. In the center of this horror, they find a young woman named Ravi tied up but alive. After they free Ravi, a monstrous alien creature attacks. It possesses immense strength and sharp claws, easily shrugging off standard bullets. While some soldiers are knocked unconscious, others discover alien laser weaponry in adjacent rooms. Using a combination of a newly found laser gun and a well-placed shot to the eye by Ravi, they manage to wound and eventually neutralize the beast. It is then revealed that Ravi speaks a foreign tongue, yet one of the soldiers finds he can understand her perfectly. Conversely, Ravi begins to learn English at an impossible speed. She leads them through the facility, warning them that the aliens whom she calls the Collectors use humans as a food source and track them via motion sensors. As they traverse a high bridge, the group realizes that the lights they see are actually thousands of cryogenic cylinders containing sleepers, living humans kept in suspended animation. They also pass massive cargo containers filled with artifacts and resources stolen from Earth. Kali and Rudy decide that instead of hiding, they should take the fight to the aliens. Jays acts as bait, singing loudly to draw the creatures out. A massive skirmish ensues among the shipping containers. The soldiers use their tactical training to ambush the aliens, with Rudy acting as a sniper using a laser rifle. However, the aliens adapt, deploying a new squad equipped with invisible energy shields that render the humans' stolen weapons useless. During the chaotic retreat, Jays is fatally shot in the waist. Driven by grief and rage, his comrade Nash manages to kill the attacker before the group slides down a disposal chute. They land in a horrific pit filled with rotting human remains and offal. In the midst of this nightmare, a woman calls out to them from a hatch above. It is Anya, Ravi's mother. After a tearful reunion, Anya, who is dressed in a Russian military uniform, leads them to a hidden, decorated basement. She explains the grim reality. She was abducted 20 to 30 years ago, and Ravi was born here in captivity. Anya reveals that the soldiers only escaped because she managed to sabotage the machinery in the trophy room where they were being held. She explains that decades ago, humans made contact with these aliens, believing them to be peaceful. Instead, the aliens invaded, focused on kidnapping the world's greatest military strategists to dismantle Earth's defenses from the inside. The soldiers realize they are not just fighting for their lives, but are the last remnants of a global military force. With Anya and Ravi's knowledge of the facility and the soldiers' tactical expertise, they prepare for a final stand. They must find a way to navigate the sensor-filled corridors, bypass the shielded alien guards, and somehow return to a world that has moved on without them for 30 years. The summary concludes with the group united, no longer as soldiers of different nations, but as a singular human resistance against an extraterrestrial threat that has treated their species as nothing more than livestock and curiosities. The initial premise of the soldiers' reality is shattered when Anya, Ravi's mother, reveals the dark truth behind their abduction. The war the American soldiers thought they were fighting at the beginning of the film was an elaborate simulation. The aliens had attached sophisticated neural devices to the soldiers' minds, forcing them to play out combat scenarios for years. This was not a random experiment. The aliens were harvesting human tactical data to understand how mankind fights. By studying these mental simulations, the extraterrestrials were able to dismantle Earth's global defenses and destroy human civilization in a matter of weeks. However, the neural link was a two-way street. While the machines read the soldiers' minds, they also inadvertently uploaded data into them, explaining why the men suddenly possessed the ability to speak alien languages and operate advanced weaponry. Anya explains that she was once a sleeper like the millions of others kept in cryogenic pods, but she was liberated by a group of rebels who have since perished. She reveals the aliens' ultimate goal: they have subdued the human race and are currently working to establish a permanent communication link with their home planet. If they succeed, a massive colonization fleet will arrive, ensuring the permanent extinction of human freedom. This revelation hits the soldiers hard, especially Nash. Looking at a weathered photograph of his family, he realizes that if 30 years have passed, his young daughter is now a middle-aged woman living in a wasteland. With no home left to return to, the squad finds a new purpose. They decide to sacrifice themselves to prevent the aliens from calling for reinforcements, choosing to save the remnants of humanity rather than succumb to despair. The soldiers plan a final, desperate assault on the facility's top deck, where the communication array is located. Anya reports that approximately 24 elite alien guards protect the sector creatures far more lethal than the ones they previously encountered. Equipped with stolen explosive belts and laser rifles, the team ascends. Rudy and Anya move to plant the main charges while the others create a loud, violent distraction. Rudy skillfully navigates the upper corridors, destroying motion sensors and engaging the guards. The humans use a captured alien energy shield for mobile cover, but they are quickly overwhelmed by the aliens' superior numbers and tactical coordination. The battle turns tragic as the team is pushed to their limits. In a corridor filled with advancing hostiles, Rudy's laser gun malfunctions. Reverting to his old ballistic weapon, he finds it useless against the aliens' armor. In a final act of defiance, as the creatures lift and throw him against the walls, Rudy detonates a bomb in his hand, vaporizing himself along with the entire squad of alien attackers. On another front, the aliens ambush Anya. As she is mortally wounded, she screams for Ravi to hide. With her final breath, Anya detonates her entire belt of explosives, collapsing the deck and destroying the communications equipment, but at the cost of her life. Nash, witnessing the death of his friends, descends into a state of cold, calculated fury. He hides Ravi in a secure duct and begins singing a war song to lure the aliens toward him, drawing them away from the girl. He manages to eliminate an entire squad using a combination of guerrilla tactics and raw aggression. However, the chaos separates the group further. Kali, the squad leader, is captured by an alien guard and knocked unconscious. In a brief, vivid dream, he sees his daughter playing in a sunlit field before the alien shadow falls over her. He wakes up in a horrific processing chamber, suspended over a pit where an alien executioner begins to systematically dismember human prisoners. Just as the alien begins to torture Kali, Nash appears from a hidden crevice and kills the executioner. Together, the two remaining soldiers fight through the facility, liberating hundreds of human prisoners from their glass cages. They finally reunite with Ravi, but the alien reinforcements are relentless. During a retreat through a pressurized corridor, Nash makes a split-second decision to save his friends. He throws his remaining explosives into a room filled with aliens and seals the door. As he celebrates their apparent victory through the porthole, an alien limb suddenly pierces through the heavy metal door, stabbing Nash through the chest. He dies instantly, leaving only Kali and Ravi alive. The final antagonist, the towering alien leader, emerges from the shadows. It easily overpowers Kali, tossing him against the ceiling like a rag doll. Kali's knife is knocked away, and the leader moves in for the kill. Just as the creature prepares to strike, Ravi, utilizing her knowledge of the ship's mechanics, activates the heavy hydraulic blast doors. The alien leader is caught in the middle of the closing mechanism. The immense pressure bisects the creature, killing it instantly. With the facility silenced and the threat of the alien reinforcements neutralized, Kali and Ravi find a staircase leading upward toward a source of natural light. Ravi, who has spent her entire life in the dark, metallic bowels of the prison, is terrified of the unknown. With Kali's gentle encouragement, she steps out onto the surface for the first time. The film concludes with a haunting vista. They stand on a jagged cliffside overlooking what was once a great city. The Earth is a scarred, desolate ruin, its atmosphere choked with the smoke of a destroyed civilization. While they have won the battle and saved the remaining prisoners, the world they knew is gone. They stand together as the last witnesses to the fallen era of man, looking out over a silent, broken planet. If you enjoy watching this video, then subscribe to Angel Recaps for the latest movies explanation.